Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into something that I think we can all relate to, and sometimes it's not the most fun topic to talk about, but it's something we all deal with, and that's stress management
Oh, yeah,
in a
absolutely.
world that, often feels like it's constantly moving at like warp speed,
Yeah.
you know. And you've sent over some really interesting material that I've had a chance to look at, and I think our listeners will really benefit from this. The piece is called Overcoming Overwhelm. Strategies for Managing Stress in a Hectic World.
Oh, very nice.
So, let's see what kind of stress-busting, gems we can unearth together.
That sounds great. I love that title too because it really does kind of capture, that feeling that I think a lot of us have these days. It's
Yeah.
just like, whoa, it's just too much.
Yeah.
And I think what's cool about what we're going to talk about today is it goes beyond, just the typical advice you hear, like,
Right.
oh, get more sleep or, exercise more.
Right. Get more sleep, drink more water.
Yeah, exactly. And there's some really unique and actionable strategies in here that I think will be really helpful.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
intrigued. I'm always looking for new approaches to this because, I think everybody has, their own kind of ways they handle stress.
Right.
So what is it, what's different about this author's take on this?
Well, one thing that really kind of jumped out at me was this technique they call box breathing.
Okay,
Have you heard of
I
this?
have not.
Okay, so it's basically this four-step breathing exercise you can do anytime, anywhere to calm your nervous system. And it's so simple.
Okay.
It's just inhale for a count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4.
Oh, okay.
And they kind of describe it like you're drawing a box with your breath.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's just a really easy way to visualize it.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm always just like, take a couple of deep breaths,
Yeah.
if I'm feeling stressed out. But this is like, more strategic.
Yeah, it's like a more intentional approach.
Yeah, like a mental reset button almost.
Exactly. And what I thought was really interesting is that they actually get into the science behind it too.
Oh, wow.
Like how these kinds of controlled breathing techniques can actually lower your heart rate and blood pressure.
Interesting.
And you're basically signaling to your body that it's time to chill out.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's like a little shortcut to
Yeah.
tricking your nervous system.
Right, like a little hack.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So I'm going to try that out.
Yeah.
So we've got a really practical technique here, but I have a feeling that, this author goes beyond just the nuts and bolts,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What else did you kind of pick up from this?
Well, they talk a lot about, it's not just about the techniques themselves, but it's the mindset that you bring to stressful situations.
Oh, interesting.
And they emphasize this thing called reframing,
Okay.
which is basically like shifting your perspective on a problem.
Okay.
And they even have this hilarious anecdote in here.
Oh, I like anecdote.
Yeah, about
I gotta hear
this
this.
getting flour all over their laptop.
Oh my
While
God.
juggling dinner at work and helping their kid with homework.
Yeah, I can totally picture that scenario.
Oh, it's such a mess.
Been there. Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, instead of completely freaking out, they describe having this moment where they just start laughing
Oh, that's great.
at the absurdity of the whole situation.
Yeah,
And they just realize, in the grand scheme of things,
right.
a flour-covered laptop is a pretty minor mishap.
Exactly.
And laughter is just a much better response than getting all worked up about it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's so easy to get caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
And you kind of lose that bigger perspective.
Yeah, you lose your sense of humor.
Yeah, totally.
Not at all.
Like you need to be able to zoom out,
Yeah.
and look at it.
Yeah, and they actually talk about how humor
Yeah.
can help buffer the negative effects of stress.
Oh, wow.
There's actually research on this.
That's so cool.
And it's like a pressure release valve
I like that
to
analogy.
your emotions.
Yeah, it's like, don't sweat the small stuff.
Exactly.
But sometimes it feels like everything is small stuff until it's like a big deal.
Oh, that's so true.
It's like, how do you differentiate,
Right. And that's where I think what they say about proactive stress management comes in.
Right.
It's not just about reacting to stressful events.
Right.
It's about building resilience into
Okay.
your daily routine. So things like setting healthy boundaries, making time for activities that recharge you.
Right?
And this might be a tough one for some of us.
Yeah.
Learning to say no more often.
Ooh, yeah, that's a hard one.
That's a big one.
But it's so important.
Yeah, it is.
I love that idea of building up your mental immune system.
Yes.
So you can kind of, handle whatever is thrown at you.
Exactly. You're better equipped to deal with the inevitable challenges.
Yeah. And I love that too because it's empowering.
Yeah.
It's like you're not just a victim, of circumstances.
You have
You can
challenges.
do things, to
Yeah,
build up that resilience.
absolutely.
Well, this has been a really insightful deep dive.
It has.
I'm sure I speak for both of us when I say we've learned a lot.
I've learned a lot.
Um, and, for those of you listening out there, what's one thing that resonated with you today? And, you know, how can you maybe put it into practice in your own life? Maybe it's
Yeah.
that box breathing, technique that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Can you maybe schedule in 5 minutes, of that today?
Yeah, or just notice those moments when you can choose laughter over stress.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
It's not about being perfect. It's just about progress
Absolutely.
and being kind to yourself.
Yes.
So thank you so much
Thank you.
for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye. As FTA2.